This morning, a major deal out of the Middle East. A temporary 2 week ceasefire agreement now on the table between the United States and Iran, offering a narrow window to de escalate tensions and avoid a broader conflict. President Trump signaling the pause right before the 8 p.m. Eastern deadline last night. The president saying the Islamic Republic of Iran agrees to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I have agreed to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double sided ceasefire, he says. He goes on to mention an agreement on long term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. It is an honor to have this long close to a resolution. Now, minutes later, this message on behalf of Iran saying if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations. Now, this comes, as you know, after days of mounting pressure surrounding the Strait of Hormuz, a vital global oil route now at the center of the standoff. In the overnight hours, President Trump, he posted this: a big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. Likewise, so has everyone else. The United States of America will be helping with the traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. There will be lots of positive action. Well, this morning, the Department of War held a press conference just moments ago on the agreement. Here's Secretary of War Pete Hegseth.
Iran has been a threat to the United States and the free world for 47 years. Chance of death to America, targeting our people, killing Americans, lying and blackmailing their way toward a nuclear weapon, so they thought. No longer. Not on our watch. Other presidents marked time and kicked the can down the road. President Trump made history. From the strike that took out Qasem Soleimani, to tearing up the disastrous Obama-Iran deal, to the precision campaign that obliterated Iran's nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer, to the decisive military victory we just achieved in Operation Epic Fury. No other president has shown the courage and resolve of this commander-in-chief. President Trump forged this moment. Iran begged for this ceasefire, and we all know it. As the President truth this morning, a big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. Operation Epic Fury was a historic and overwhelming victory on the battlefield. A capital V military victory. By any measure, Epic Fury decimated Iran's military and rendered it combat ineffective for years to come. You see, in less than 40 days, one of our combatant commands, Central Command, CENTCOM, using less than 10% of America's total combat power, dismantled one of the world's largest militaries. The world's leading state sponsor of terrorism proved utterly incapable of defending itself, its people, or its territory. We untied just a fraction of our strength, and Iran suffered a devastating military defeat. Together with our Israeli partners, America's military achieved every single objective, on plan, on schedule, exactly as laid out from day one.
Let's bring in Jim Paff with the Conservative Caucus. Jim, this came down to the wire literally minutes before the deadline. What is your take on the 2 week deal?
It's a chance for Iran. They needed to be entirely delivered from the situation that they've been in for 47 years. And Donald Trump, let me just put it this way. Donald Trump, I know, was dead serious about doing what he threatened to do. And Pakistan knew that too. And they really were able to urge what's left of a decimated leadership in Iran to make a decision. And there's no way they could defend against it. And I think better heads, at least for the short run, have prevailed. Now, I'm not looking at this and thinking everything's over. This thing can explode up again very quickly. And if they are not immediately and fully faithful in pushing aside any effort to block the Strait of Hormuz, either by using their mini drones or any other methodology, Donald Trump will be right back on it very quickly. But in the meantime, while we see if there's such a thing to be had, our military gets a chance to get a breather for a moment. They've been hard at it for weeks now, and they'll be ready to come back. It's obvious that they've been very, very effective. Donald Trump, though, and we can talk about more, I'm sure, but Donald Trump is radically and positively changing everything on the world stage that has been so wrong for so many decades. And I'm not a big fan of war. Listen, I'm sitting on the why do we ever do war end of it, but I totally get what Donald Trump's doing here, and there's probably not another president that could handle it the way he has as effectively as he has, with the help of an amazing military that's so competent and capable.
You're absolutely right. For over 4 decades, we haven't had a president who would get this job done. And we finally have someone with the guts to go in and finally end this regime, this terroristic regime, and find peace and make a deal with peace in the Middle East. But, Jim, there's a lot of questions on whether this is a genuine path to a long-term deal or just a tactical pause by both sides. I firmly believe, obviously, the United States wants peace in the Middle East, but we're dealing with a regime that's very, they're not normal. They're very terroristic. And it makes me think and go back to Hamas with Israel. When Hamas kept going back over the yellow line in Israel after a peace deal was made, they released the hostages. That was President Trump's #1 goal. That happened. And then, you're dealing with Hamas going over that yellow line, not living up to their deal. And then now we're dealing with Iran. Will they live up to the deal? And you're absolutely right. We're dealing with a president who is not going to take any bull from them, and he will go back in if he needs to.
Listen, if I would not want to give any impression that this is going to be over after 2 weeks. If I were to put money on it, there will be military engagement either during the 2-week period or shortly thereafter when Donald Trump is not satisfied with frankly an unconditional surrender. And I think that the unconditional surrender needs to be the objective here. This is about caring for the Iranian people in a way. Obviously, it's for Donald Trump. He cares about what's going to happen with Americans. He's clearly trying to free the Iranian people to determine their own outcomes rather than have some radical mullahs decide, to advance their death cult on a people in a nation, which they've been doing for 47 years. So yeah, look for a re-engagement to happen. I think there's a very high likelihood of it. I mean, I am hopeful that you'll get some stuff moving through the Strait of Hormuz. Don't forget, though, what may help this hold more than anything is that China wants this oil to get moving through the Strait of Hormuz. And there were reports yesterday, and I can't confirm them, but that apparently China was telling them to stop and to allow the strait to get freely flowing again. So China's at great risk here. They get well more than 50% of their oil from the Strait of Hormuz. And they are in dire circumstance if they can't get it. They've only got so much in the way of reserves. Reports are that they have been going into those reserves because they just don't have any other sources of oil. They were getting it mostly from Venezuela and the Middle East, and that has been shut off recently. So, I think you're going to have a conflagration come back if I had to put money on it. But there's a lot of significance to this as well, too, which hopefully can bode well for a permanent peace and freedom for the Iranian people.
Let's go back, Jim. There's been a lot of talk from the president. The president, as we know, if it's on his mind, it's on his lips. He's going to say what he's thinking. The talk got heated in the last few days. I think the final straw was when President Trump posted, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again." That raised a lot of concerns. The left started losing its minds along with fake MAGA. This was President Trump's last threat, that if Iran didn't open the strait, he would rain down on bridges, power plants. But of course, we've talked about this before here on the show. The left doesn't like tough talk. It hurts their feelings. So they are calling for the 25th Amendment to be invoked. So the president, we get what he's saying here. He was not going to wipe out the entire country of Iran, the children and the women there who have been abused for many decades. He's basically saying, we're going to bring you back to the Stone Age. We're going to wipe out everything you have, from bridges to power plants, your military, and so forth.
I want to address that 25th Amendment thing. See, because you're right. Democrats, they get their panties in a bunch, as the phrase goes. They're wussies. They're wussy children who just do not have any sense of reality, either in their own lives, in the American lives, and quite frankly, for many of these Democrats that are elected, they're trying to overthrow the American Republic in any way they can. But let me address the 25th Amendment. 25th Amendment gets invoked not by Congress. I mean, if you want to do something about the president in Congress, then you begin an impeachment process, which obviously, if they were to gain control of Congress, would do after November. But that's their only recourse. The 25th Amendment gets invoked by cabinet officials. I'm not a big fan of the 25th Amendment. I think it's a kind of a stupid addition, but I understand why it was added. But it's just a weak way to get rid of a president that you have problems with. That's the attempt. And having a cabinet throw out a president, they're not the elected leaders. If you got it, that's why the impeachment process was there. They are just throwing that out because they are continuing this effort to try to make Donald Trump out to be a crazy person. And he's not. Just because he says something as really over the edge, as he said in that tweet, in that Truth Social post that he made. Sorry, guys, you have no idea what it takes to actually move things, and evidenced by the fact that something got moved here. He, though, is that kind of war fighter. He has that spirit about him. I believe if Iran does not cease, move along, and allow their people to take control, I do not see Donald Trump backing away from that same sort of determination. So Democrats really are the center of the problem that we have on the international stage and here in the United States in so many ways. And the biggest reason they are is because of weak-kneed Republicans that also haven't done what they needed to do. Like George W. Bush did the second Iraq war for the military-industrial complex, not to save the country. There was no need to go to war with Iraq. He lied about it anyway. Plus, they took over our TSA agents on a lie. I mean, the weakness of Republicans combined with the determination of Democrats to create a world order that does not include the American ideal in it anywhere, that is a big part of why we're where we're at right now. They have conspired with World Economic Forum and that sort of thinking on the international stage for a long period of time. Their ideas have a strong foothold in Europe right now, which it does not have freedom, and show their weakness in this whole situation. Everything that they say, the American people can safely reject because it has nothing to do with anything that matters to them. Evidenced by the Biden administration, which was a disaster. Like, we're seeing how much of a disaster the Biden administration was. Even with this, problem of people who wanted Donald Trump to stick with the no more forever wars, and then he does Venezuela and Iran, and that feels uncomfortable once he's made that promise. And they think that this means forever wars, which I don't think it does for him in any way. But even with the chaos that comes with that sort of thing, we are in a far superior situation in this country than we have been in a long period of time. Ever since the Russia hoax got its foothold into the Trump administration in late 2019, 2020, all the way until Donald Trump was elected in 2024. We are seeing an opportunity of freedom in this country that we haven't seen for a long period of time. Democrats do not want that to be sustained because it will not allow them to continue to create chaos internationally like they have.
You're absolutely right. TDS is strong. We saw that the last couple of weeks, and it was a little quiet last night when that deal was put in place, but they'll come up with something again, as they always do. I want to bring up an alert I just got on my phone from Israel, Jim. They're saying breaking Saudi Arabia's oil pipeline to the Red Sea was bombed in a drone attack. This just happening. They go on to say Iran's Islamic terror regime and its terror proxies are still bombing Gulf states. So here we are, not even 12 hours or just about 12 hours since that deal was put in place. And they're still bombing Saudi Arabia's oil pipeline at this hour. So big news there. We just talked about it. Will they live up to their end of the deal?
And there were bombs that were sent from Iran into Israel in their late night. In fact, their overnight hours, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., their local time. So we'll see. I mean, we saw this in the summer efforts, the Iran attacks and the attacks on Hamas last summer, and they would continue on when there was supposed to be a ceasefire. Then Israel would get back and forth. There's always this tension right at the end of something like this. But I will say this: hearing that, and I didn't know that before I got on with you. If they've hit Saudi Arabia like that, I'm very curious to see if it all just fell apart and we're taking on kinetic action immediately again. That I would not be surprised if that happened, and it would be warranted if they were attacking Saudi Arabia.
Right. And that alert just coming to my phone. So it's just a breaking news alert happening right now. So we'll wait to see what comes out of that. Let's go back to the Strait of Hormuz, a major thoroughfare for ships carrying oil. About 20 to 25% of the world's oil passes through the strait. Ships haven't been passing through due to the dangerous conditions there. This is now going to open back up, according to the deal. Jim, when word got out last night, oil prices dipped drastically. I was watching it live. We have a look at that right now. A live look at oil prices starting to drop. Gas prices have soared since the war began. Hopefully, we'll start seeing those go down. A big jump in gas prices. A lot of Americans complaining there was pain at the pump, but we all knew that this would be temporary. To trust Trump, and here we are with oil prices going down, which means that will affect our gas prices. The president posting early this morning, the United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through a very productive regime change. He says there will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bombers, nuclear dust. He went on to say further down in this same post, we are and will be talking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. So what does this tell you? Because he also said, I mean, there's a lot of posts from the president this morning. I don't think he slept last night, Jim. He said also a country supplying military weapons to Iran will be immediately tariffed. 50%, no exclusions or exemptions, he said. So a lot of movement going on with oil prices. With the market, we're waiting for opening bell in just about 12 minutes there on Wall Street. But the stock market futures looking very good at this time. So we're going to see a lot. There you go. Looking at futures right now, the Dow up 1,200 points as we head into opening bell. Your reaction to all of this?
Well, I want to see what the markets are doing immediately after this announcement on Saudi Arabia. So that'll be an interesting twist. But absolutely, the futures have been over $1,000 on the Dow Jones all morning long, and that is likely to continue. That rally will bolster public opinion potentially, or at least it calms things a little bit, thinking that this might be over. I mean, I still want to warn people this could get back out of hand very quickly, but the reality is it shows, I think everyone should see that it shows that the tension in the markets, we had gotten over 50,000 in the Dow. We retreated from that because of the war. And we're down into right near $90 a barrel as the last time I saw it this morning. Right. That is way down from yesterday, but it's still on a high that's well above the 58 to 65 roughly that we were at before the war. So we got a long way to go to get back to where we were. But those tensions are, or those numbers are proof that there's just been a lot of tension about what's going to happen with this war. That's natural and normal, but I would be looking towards that 55 to $70 baseline on oil once this thing is over, if it gets over. And that is clearly there if you look at what's happening in the markets. We're on a rush back up to 50,000 unless there's some other news unrelated to all this that happens in the markets. And we do have some potential problems coming. You know, the Fed has decided they don't want to do anything again. And we got to resolve the Jerome Powell thing where you've got Tom Tillis, this idiot North Carolina senator who's been the bane of our existence for years, holding off the appointment of a new Fed chairman, spiting the American people as badly as Democrats have been doing with TSA to try to get his whiny, wimpy way. This is the kind of thing that we've had in Washington, D.C. for a long time. It's the nature of politics in a way, but we've also been a country, even with this nature playing out, that we've usually seen the greater ideal of who we are as a nation. That's changed this century dramatically and even last century. But through all of that, as you look at what the markets are doing right now, you understand that Donald Trump, as a strong leader, has allowed, and a proper, appropriate leader, like he's doing what a real president should do and was intended by the founding fathers to do. And because he's consistent and because he takes decisions that are appropriate and proper and in the interest of this country, you're going to see a recovery of these difficult numbers in the markets, which are totally to be expected and should be planned, obviously. So we're going to come back to something really good if we can get past the Iran situation, and it just might sweep in a positive situation, keeping Democrats out of control of Congress in November. Notice I didn't say sweep Republicans in, because there are very few Republicans in Congress I care about very much, because that's not helping us any either. But to have Democrats in is a disaster. And we know that what they can do, and they would be continuing their efforts to overthrow the American Republic. Donald Trump is bringing the American Republic back in line to where it always should be and always should have been.
You're absolutely right. And which is worse, Democrats or rhinos? But, you know, at the end of the day, we'd almost be happy to have the majority and have rhinos in office than a Democrat any day. But we'll see what November brings. Going back to Iran, this regime, Jim, they're just demonic. They are. They use children, babies, women. They formed, look at this video yesterday. It was so heartbreaking. They formed a human chain along bridges yesterday. A move by Iran to say, basically, if you blow up the bridge, you'll murder these innocent women and children. It's just absolutely disturbing and so sad. But this is what we're dealing with. They see women as a possession. They see children as a possession. And so when President Trump said, okay, we'll bomb the bridges and the power plants, they sent these women and children there. I mean, it's just so disgusting to watch, truly. But on the flip side, there's lots of Iranians in the streets celebrating, holding signs and flags, as you see here. I love this one. They're reminding the president when he posted, "Help is on the way." They knew President Trump was going to come in and save the country from this regime. It's been a long time coming for these people. Chants in the streets. They were chanting, "Thank you, Trump. Thank you, Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu." Let's listen into this.
Thank you! 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 Thank you!
And Jim, I know that whenever we see this, it's okay. It's live TV. You gotta get some coffee, right? It's early morning. When we see this, it takes me back to CPAC. We had Iranian Americans there as well who were chanting the same thing. Thank you, Trump, and thank you, Bibi. And so you look at the world, you know, and you see these people, and I saw them. I was an eyewitness to it firsthand in Dallas just a couple of weeks ago. You see these people and you hear their stories and what they've been through. But then you go and you get on X or any other social media and you see these Democrats who are just so hateful and mean and calling people names if you support President Trump and going in and saving these people. they haven't lived there. They haven't heard the stories. They don't know the hell that these people have been through. And so to see them in the streets, to see them at CPAC thanking the president, it's just really eye opening if you think outside the box and if you're not narrow minded and you're in your own little world and you just want to hate on everybody and everything, which a lot of social media influencers do and a lot of the left does. But these people have been murdered. Tens of thousands of their own people have been murdered in the streets. Women who, if they don't obey by the dress code, they're being thrown gas and acid in their faces, which leave lifetime effects. It's just a horrible place to live the last 47 years. And so I wanted to show that. You're not going to see stuff like that on mainstream media, but I wanted to show that because this is how the people of Iran feel. They are thanking the president of the United States and the prime minister of Israel for coming in and helping save them from this regime.
Well, so look at the contrast here. Go back to Iran for a moment. You see these pictures. The one you showed is similar to others that I've seen in different parts, actually not that many parts of Iran, because that was all propaganda. And if Donald Trump had bombed those areas, they would have shot these people, some of them in the head, and said that they were killed by Trump when all he would have been doing is disabling portions of the infrastructure, although he might have destroyed bridges. But this is in the daytime in Iran, right? The 8 p.m. Eastern time deadline was roughly 3 a.m. Iran time. So there was never going to be anybody on the bridges. That's just all propaganda. That's the way they do things. But what they were doing in putting all those people on those bridges is reaching out to their associates in the Democrat Party, knowing that their Democrat partners would help them out with the propaganda war. That's literally what they're doing. So that's the one side. The other contrast is, as you just pointed out, Iranians in the streets here in the United States who are so thankful to Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu for helping them out. And there's been a lot of controversy in this country about Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'll leave that aside for a moment, but I will say this. Israel is loved by Persian Iranians and by other Iranians too. Persians make up, I think roughly 60+% of the population there. They love Israel. They look back to King Cyrus, who sent the Jews back to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple and create the second temple. They know that they're part of that history and heritage, and they're proud of that. I've talked with Iranians who feel exactly that way over many, many years. My wife worked for an Iranian couple in the Washington, D.C. area that owned a dress shop, and her husband had put together curtains for the Shah for many years. I mean, they were, their whole heritage is in Iran. They love Israel, and they're very glad in this country, those that are here and safe, that there might be freedom because they still have relatives there in Iran. They're looking for their freedom and for them to have a better life. And it will happen if this really plays out in a way where you get a rational government running that country again. You're not going to see, you'll see certain Western excesses show up here and there. You're going to see this or that bad thing happen. But the Persian people are a proud people who are well educated, who are determined to maintain their heritage, which over thousands of years, which they are very proud of. And they will reemerge where they were prior to 1979 when Jimmy Carter caused this whole thing to really fall apart. Let's not forget, Jimmy Carter had been holding off the Ayatollah from going back to the Ayatollah Khomeini from going back to Iran, and then suddenly allowed him back in the country under some guise of freedom. This is another way that Democrats create chaos, cause problems, because they're either weak, wimpy, or trying to overthrow, democracy. Jimmy Carter created this mess. Donald Trump's cleaning it up. And we should be very thankful that we've got that kind of leadership again. And we need to build off that moving forward as well. So I'm so grateful for the Iranian people that there just might be light at the end of the tunnel. It's not quite there yet. There's got to be a big break happen that I don't yet see in the offing. But if it does, and it does seem like it might be close, that would be so. I feel so great. I have so many Iranian friends. I just would feel great for them.
Absolutely. We're praying that it does. But as we start to wrap up here, Jim, I want to remind everyone that you're going to see so many fake news articles out there. You're going to see fake posts from these social media influencers. You're going to see fake posts from the left, from fake MAGA. It's everywhere. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. They have pros and they have cons. We talk about that almost every day here. Pros and cons of social media. And that is the con, is that they post fake news. I want to show people this just to give an example. President Trump had to threaten CNN last night immediately, Jim, immediately after a peace deal was made. A ceasefire deal was made for 2 weeks. CNN put out a post with a fake news headline. President Trump had to threaten a lawsuit if they didn't redact that fake news post. Minutes later, CNN took it down. It was redacted. But you have to do that to these fake news outlets and the media and the social media influencers. And if you don't, they're just going to continue on, and it's just a lot of rhetoric, a lot of hate. Let's go back to the days where this is what happened. This is what the United States is saying. This is what Iran is saying, and quit trying to decipher what's really going on behind the scenes. Everyone thinks that they know more than the Trump administration and what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing over in Israel while they sit in their basement, right? So the fake news has to stop. So when we go over this next 2-week period before you share anything, I get it all the time, Jim. People send me texts all the time. Is this real? And I love that. Please send it to me. Message me on social media. Ask me, because I will verify it for you before you post. So we need more people doing that, because there's going to be so much rhetoric out there. So many people trying to get clicks, likes, and monetization from social media. And it's just not real news. So that's my platform. I'm on my high horse at this hour when it comes to social media, because I saw a lot of it in the last 48 hours after President Trump gave them the 48-hour deadline, 8 p.m. last night, to make a deal to open up the Strait. So many people, tens of thousands of people on social media claiming that they knew exactly what was going on, what was happening in the Situation Room, what was happening in the Oval Office. And then this fake news article from CNN just minutes after a deal was made, again, has been redacted after President Trump threatened a lawsuit. But we need to see more of that.
Yeah, we do. And I want a media that is not partial to either party. I mean, you and I have been documenting for many years now the duplicity of Republicans in leadership and the rise of a leftist Democrat Party that's gone beyond just being, secularist and humanist to becoming neo-pagan and Maoist communist, attempting to overthrow the American Republic. All of that needs to be exposed. I mean, my good friend Peter Schweitzer has written many books that expose it on both sides of it. That's the kind of thing we need in journalism again, because we want a rigorous press that looks deeply at everything that's going on and exposes what's wrong. That's something that none of us should disagree with. What we have, though, is an aggressive media working very hard to conspire with a political class in Washington, D.C., that is determined to keep the American people at bay, who are the real sovereigns of this country, I might emphasize. The preamble of the Constitution says it's we the people who form the government. It's not the government that forms the government, but they collude with state actors in the government. Even worse, they collude with them through our intelligence community for decades to put out a propaganda from government that aligns with political objectives of government actors, elected and not elected, to take us in a place that they see where that they wanted to go to, rather than the one that was set up from our founding, laid out clearly in the Constitution. I just saw a video recently of someone making fun of the fact of and rightly so, the founding fathers were upset about very minimal taxes, and now We're taxed to death. There are literally hundreds of taxes that Americans pay. We pay that into bureaucrats who undermine us in every way, and they collude with the media to advance that agenda and make people feel bad if they would do anything to push back against this edifice that they've built in government. Donald Trump has broken down that edifice by speaking against it. And that post that you shared of his is exactly the spirit every one of us needs to maintain as we push back against a media that is lying and that does not have our interests in mind. We need to go back to a media that has our interest in mind and is willing to play it straight, Republican or Democrat, to expose corruption. Because 6,000 years of recorded human history proves the moral depravity of mankind. I mean, that's our problem with government. It doesn't matter how good your buddy is that you really like on TV. That's what we're trying to oppose. That's what we need to work towards, and it requires vigilant effort to get there. And I think we have good reason to believe that if we just continue this on and build off that spirit of what Donald Trump helped everyone remember again, I think that we can get on the right path.
You're absolutely right. We'll just keep exposing them. And I think the American people are waking up to the fake news media and these fake posts that they're seeing on social media everywhere. Jim Paff, conservativecaucus.com. I want everyone to go to that website, get involved. Conservative Caucus does great things on the ground, boots on the ground all across America, trying to save this republic, make it better. We love our country, and the Conservative Caucus is right there behind the president, fighting for a better America. So go to the Conservative Caucus website. Jim Paff, always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for stopping by today.
Great to be with you as always, Vanessa. Thank you.
Now to fraud in America. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche held his first major press conference announcing a new Justice Department crackdown on fraud and the creation of what's called National Fraud Enforcement Division. The move is designed to centralize and expand federal prosecutions involving taxpayer-funded programs, with Blanche saying the department is targeting fraudsters accused of stealing from the American people.
Every day, Department of Justice investigators and prosecutors work to punish those who commit fraud. For example, just this week, and it's only Tuesday, a criminal defendant was sentenced and the department obtained 2 additional guilty pleas in matters totaling over $500 million in healthcare and COVID fraud. If you think about that, just since yesterday, we had a guilty plea in a $160 million healthcare enrollment fraud scheme and a sentencing in a $100 million COVID-19 fraud and a guilty plea in a $160 million healthcare fraud scheme as well. Each of these cases represents countless hours of dedication from the prosecutors and the federal agents and local law enforcement who work them. The Department of Justice is holding criminals accountable for stealing over $500 million from taxpayers. And across our U.S. attorney's offices all over this country, we currently have over 8,000 fraud matters underway. Unfortunately, as you've heard a lot about recently, because it's true, these cases represent a fraction of the fraud ripping off our country every day. Thanks to the leadership of President Trump, this department, working closely with the task force to eliminate fraud, is supercharging efforts to take down every fraudster and bring them to justice.
Blanche was asked about hospice fraud in America. He specifically had this to say.
CBS has done a lot of reporting on hospice fraud specifically. What are you doing to clamp down on that? Who exactly are you targeting? Doctors, owners, when it comes to hospice fraud specifically?
Yes. Exactly. I mean, everybody that participates in it. I mean, you see those, that fraud is the question was about hospice fraud. And that's the purest form of stealing from the American people's pockets, in that it is a lot of money designed to help the most vulnerable among us. And so, who are we prosecuting? It depends on who's committing the crime. If it's the doctor, it's the doctor. If it's the hospital organization itself, fine. If it's the families of the patient, fine.
Blanche says that anyone ripping off taxpayers is now on notice. He made it clear this is about coordination and consequences. Now, again, his role is temporary. In the meantime, attorney Peter Tickton has thrown his hat in the ring for the permanent replacement for Attorney General. Just yesterday, we broke the story here on the morning show that his name is being circulated around close circles tied to the president. Let's take a look back at that interview.
And I'll tell you, the name that keeps surfacing when I keep talking to people is Peter Tickton. Peter Tickton is a great lawyer, actually went to military academy with President Trump. And if you go back and look, these guys actually have been rooting out corruption since they were teenagers. There's a documented story of someone that was doing stuff in their barracks at the New York Military Academy. And these two guys worked together to get this thing resolved. And I could see no better capstone to the president's presidency than to bring along a person he trusts, a person the American people trust. I mean, he's even representing Tina Peters right now on getting her out of the situation she's in. So that's when I talk to people who they're looking for. There's only one name that comes to the top, and that's Peter Tickton.
Peter Tickton, he shared this interview on his social media pages, then made his announcement. Tickton, as you just heard, is a longtime ally of President Trump, the attorney for Tina Peters. She's the former Mesa County, Colorado clerk who was jailed for questioning the 2020 election. So watch his name in the race for Attorney General and who President Trump will choose. Vice President J.D. Vance is on the world stage delivering a major address in Hungary. In front of a massive crowd, Vance praised Hungary's policies and its approach to immigration, strong borders, and traditional values. The biggest highlight of the speech, though, a phone call to the president.
Hello, Mr. President. How are you? Mr. President, you are on with about 5,000 Hungarian patriots, and I think they love you even more than they love Viktor Orban.
Well, I can't believe that. I can't believe that because I love Hungary and I love that Viktor. I'll tell you, he's a fantastic man. We've had a tremendous relationship, and he does a job. Remember this, he didn't allow people to storm your country and invade your country like other people have and ruin their countries, frankly. He's kept your country good. He's kept Hungarian people in your country. And he's done a fantastic job. And let me tell you, I like him a lot, but if I didn't think he did a good job, I wouldn't be making a call like this. But boy, that sounds like a big crowd, and that sounds like my kind of people. What a crowd. JD must have made a very good speech to get this kind of a response. I guess. How did JD do? Did he give a good speech, everybody?
It's very early, sir.
It's early. Okay, well, I just want to tell you, I'm a big fan of Viktor. I'm with him all the way. The United States is with him all the way. And it's a real honor to talk to you. You're really incredible people with great enthusiasm and brilliance, because you're brilliant people. And I really love it. You have a man that kept your country strong, and he kept your country good. And you don't have problems with all of the problems that so many other countries have because they let their countries be invaded. And you don't have that problem because of Viktor Orban. That's the only reason you don't have that problem. There was a lot of pressure on him to do it, and those other countries made big mistakes. So I wish you a lot of luck, and I love you all.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Vance's visit comes at a time of growing debate across Europe over migration, economic stability, and the future direction of the European Union. To Georgia now, a big race we've been following closely. Republican and Trump-endorsed candidate Clay Fuller has won the Georgia runoff election for the 14th congressional district, defeating Democrat Sean Harris. This seat will replace former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Fuller's win gives Republicans an important hold on a deeply conservative seat and adds to the GOP's narrow House majority. Fuller now heads to Washington to serve out the remainder of the term. And those are your top stories for today. When we come back, we'll check in with the Artemis II crew making their journey back home after circling the moon. You're watching My Mornings with Vanessa.
Have you ever noticed how complicated it is to get your medication? When you're not feeling well or you're running low on something, it turns into a whole process. You call the doctor, your appointment's days away, you sit in the waiting room, then you stand in line at the pharmacy, and sometimes they don't even have it. That's the old system. It is slow, it's frustrating, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's why I've been telling you about All Family Pharmacy. My family loves it, and I use them myself. You go online, you choose what you need, you fill out a short medical form, and one of their licensed doctors reviews your request. If it's appropriate, they write up the prescription, and it ships straight to your front door. This is how healthcare should work. If you believe in being prepared like I do, this is one of the smartest moves you can make. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Use the code Lindell10 to save 10% today.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including LINDELLTV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to LINDELLTV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
All right, grab your tissues for this story. The Artemis crew is on its way back home, but not before making history and leaving its mark in space. Astronaut Reed Wiseman is widowed, losing his wife recently, leaving behind 2 daughters. And while at the moon, this special moment happened.
Our science team helped us out with a couple of relatively fresh craters on the moon that have not been previously named, and our crew would like to propose a couple of potential names for those items or those areas. And we spent a bit of time this morning looking out the window, and we're able to see them now both with our naked eye and through the long lens. And so we feel this is a good time to send this down. And especially meaningful for this crew is a number of years ago we started this journey in our close-knit astronaut family, and we lost a loved one. There's a feature in a really neat place on the moon, and it is on the near side, far side boundary. In fact, it's just on the near side of that boundary. And so at certain times of the moon's transit around Earth, we will be able to see this from Earth. And so we lost a loved one. Her name was Carol, the spouse of Reed, the mother of Katie and Ellie. And we would like to call it Carol.
A beautiful moment there. God bless him. And the astronaut family, they are like a family. They spend so much time together at work and, of course, they're in space. You're looking at live pictures right now as they make their journey back home. It's been a wonderful experience watching them go where no man has gone before. Here's more on their mission.
Okay, I just wanted to take a brief moment to send my appreciation to the entire NASA workforce, all of our civil servants, all of our contractors, all of our commercial partners, our international partners. I can tell you every one of the astronauts on Artemis 2 knows and appreciates the contributions that it takes from everyone to pull off a mission like this for America's grand return to the lunar environment and set up for subsequent missions when we go back to the surface, and this time to stay. I want to tell you, for everyone who's helped get this crew trained and prepared, we are incredibly grateful. For those in mission control right now that's going to look out for this crew while they're in space, thank you for your contributions. And the recovery crew who's going to be standing by to get them out of the water and bring them back safely to their families. Thank you very much. And everyone else who is not directly supporting Artemis 2, you know what? We're going to get the mobile launcher back in the VAB, and we are going to start stacking because we're sending Artemis 3 in 2027.
It takes a team. The crew is expected to make a splash landing on Friday, ending their 10-day historic journey in space. We have more to come this morning, a look at Wall Street's opening bell and your news to go. But first, a reminder, you can follow me on all social media platforms. I am on Vocal, X, Truth Social, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe there to YouTube. Watch us live there every day. You can follow me right now on social media. We'll be right back.
Talk is cheap when it comes to saving our country. We're not just any cell phone service provider. We're Patriot Mobile. It's not enough to simply talk about values. We live them. Defending life, protecting our First and Second Amendments, and celebrating our military and first responder heroes. We're boots on the ground making a difference. We're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider with nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks and 100% U.S.-based customer service. Join Patriot Mobile today and make an impact every time you use your cell phone.
America's founders warned that without knowledge and virtue, no nation can remain free. Yet through the steady infiltration of Marxist ideology, we have been stripped of both, and we are no longer a moral and educated people. To save America, we must spark nothing less than a national renaissance. That's why you need Freedom Talk Magazine, the journal of truth and virtue. We cultivate enlightened thinking and principled living, offering unique insights into the issues and remarkable people defining our world. Sign up today for your free subscription to Freedom Talk Magazine and join the new American Renaissance.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
Let's take a look at Wall Street. We have been waiting for this moment. MarketWatch.com providing us live pictures from Wall Street, the Dow, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, all seeing a massive boost this morning for opening bell. The Dow up over 1,200 points at this hour. The S&P 500 up as well. The NASDAQ up big, over 600 points. This all has to do with the announcement last night with a 2-week peace deal. We saw it in the market futures, so good news. Investors have been waiting for this for a very long time. We've seen a lot of volatility in the last couple of weeks with this war in Iran, but it looks like we are starting to get some movement in the right direction. Along with the peace deal in the Middle East, investors are also watching interest rate expectations. Jim and I talked about that just moments ago. Interest rates coming in from the Feds, also inflation signals. Bond yields, by the way, are holding steady this morning as well. So looking good there on marketwatch.com. In your news to go as you start your day, here's the president's schedule for today. He had executive meetings starting at 8 this morning. At 11:30 this morning, he will have a meeting with the Secretary of Agriculture. At 3:30 this afternoon, he will meet with the Secretary General of NATO. And at 5 o'clock this evening, he will attend a Freedom to 50 reception. So that's his schedule. You can find all of that on LINDELLTV.com and the Lindell TV app. There is a press briefing at 1 this afternoon with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. We'll have coverage of that as well. And we leave you today, as we always do, with our prayer of the day. Here is our Bible verse of the day. It's a long one, but is it a good one? The Bible says, being found in appearance of a man, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death. That is a great verse if you want to check it out. Today, your prayer of the day. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
If you want to drop extra pounds, boost energy levels, and reduce swelling in your legs and feet, then this message is for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to make America healthy again. And two of their best-selling health supplements are leading the way. First is Liver Health Formula. Over 100 million Americans have a sluggish liver that's riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on the pounds, and make you feel tired. Liver Health Formula takes care of that. It supports thriving liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down and revitalize your energy levels. Next is lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, and feet, this is for you. The natural ingredients in lymph system support help gently flush away extra fluid and toxins out of your body. And right now, for a limited time, you get 35% off Liver Health Formula and Lymph System Support, along with 50 plus other health supplements that Pure Health Research has to offer. So head over to purehealthresearch.com and use promo code Lindell at checkout. That's purehealthresearch.com, promo code Lindell to save 35% on your order today.
Welcome to Vocal, the free speech social app that gives you a platform to amplify your voice. Speak freely, connect boldly, and be part of a growing movement for truth, faith, and freedom. Want to know what's happening right now? The Now Playing feature shows you exactly who's live and what's streaming in real time. Check out the show's feed, a non-stop lineup including Lindell TV News 24/7, shows and on-demand programming all in one place. Connect with your favorite host and never miss a show. Explore the featured page for quick access to Lindell TV's top shows. Follow your favorites and watch their newest content flow right into your feed. And when they go live on Vocal, you can join the live chat and be part of the action. Ask questions, share your thoughts, even help shape future shows. Stay informed on issues around securing our elections by following your state's Cause of America account. Join a group and connect on a deeper level, from faith and freedom to the future of our nation. Go to vocal.com or download the app today and be a part of the mission to save our country.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping. Have you ever noticed how complicated it is to get your medication? When you're not feeling well or you're running low on something, it turns into a whole process. You call the doctor, your appointment's days away, you sit in the waiting room, then you stand in line at the pharmacy, and sometimes they don't even have it. That's the old system. It is slow, it's frustrating, and it doesn't have to be that way. That's why I've been telling you about All Family Pharmacy. My family loves it, and I use them myself. You go online, you choose what you need, you fill out a short medical form, and one of their licensed doctors reviews your request. If it's appropriate, they write up the prescription, and it ships straight to your front door. This is how healthcare should work. If you believe in being prepared like I do, this is one of the smartest moves you can make. Go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Lindell. Use the code Lindell10 to save